Our next conversation is about what young India wants, a peep into the minds of Gen Z and youth in a post COVID world. There has been a paradigm shift in the behavior during and post lockdown. Content consumption in the OTT space has gone up in the last few months. Is this a temporary shift, or can we expect the youth of India to be primary consumers on digital? The shift has also brought into focus the content, as creative and relevant content is important in addressing the new sets of audiences, and that is the challenge. We would like to call on screen our speakers, Pooja Johari, CEO, The Glitch, and Naveen Shenoy, Head of Marketing, Youth, Music and English Entertainment, Viacom 18. I'll leave the screen to you.
Thank you, Varun. And hi, Naveen. It's good to see you.
Hi, Pooja. Good to see you. Sorry, man, I'm on the road, but we'll do this.
Yes, of course. Wow, that's quite, I mean, technology just makes all of this so easy, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So great. I mean, without further ado, thanks Ad Gully for bringing us together. And, Naveen, I'm obviously a big fan of the kind of work that you guys do and everything that happens with Viacom, VH1 and MTV. And, getting to just taking from what Varun spoke of, that content consumption has obviously gone through the roof, and especially with young people and Gen Zs. Is that, and he spoke about, could this be a short-term trend, or do you see this really moving even post-lockdown? And do you see this consistency even post-lockdown?
Yeah, no, see, I think content has definitely been one of the coping mechanisms for young people, right? There have been others, but I think content has come handy for people as a coping mechanism. We are seeing definitely interesting trends at our end. So, for example, on MTV, we've seen time spent go up by around 60% on linear TV. And on OTT, which is Voot for us, we've seen it almost double. So clearly, content went a long way in sort of soothing the frayed nerves initially. We are seeing some tapering off as the Unlock 1.2 and 2.0 have started. But we think some amount of increase will stay in the long term. Because I was looking at this interesting number put out by Bach Nielsen, right? They sort of segregated everything into comparing, let's say, August week 3 versus pre-COVID. And their buckets were things like, chat, VoIP, video content, social media, OTT, and so on. So the ones that seem to have held are clearly video content, VoIP, and gaming, surprisingly. And the ones that have given up all their gains and actually have gone down below pre-COVID levels are social media. And part of the reason is apparently, 30 to 40% our surveys show us that 30 to 40% of youngsters feel that social media has become a much sadder place in the last 6 months or so. So I think the gains that have been given up have been possibly for that reason. What do you see, with some of the clients? Because you work with the same demog, Pooja. So
yeah,
what are some of the things you've seen in content consumption?
So the social media being a more sadder place today is probably true. But I do think that it has given us a lot of insight into the kind of content we've created for our clients. I mean, if you have to look at Netflix, for example, we built out the entire Netflix home stories through what we were looking at and what we were listening to on social, and the impact of lockdown on mental health and relationships and marquee events in your lives. And that's what sort of led us to creating Netflix home stories, which
Right.
birthed to newer content. We put that up and Netflix put that up on YouTube, so it's available for everyone and not just on their platform. So yes, social has become a slightly sadder, but I do think that as the acceptance of this reality has come in, people, I'm also seeing great trends in, especially in young people who are reprioritizing their lives and reprioritizing what they want to do with their lives. And that's changing behavior, that's changing consumption, that's changing how brands are talking to them today. And so from a consistency standpoint, I do think that, the impact of this pandemic is going to stay for some time. Just for example, what happened with millennials after the 2008 recession, so many millennials today don't invest in homes, and choose to rent because of what happened in 2008 and 9, and typical pieces of investment that our parents would think: buy a house if you're settled. That's the best way to judge your, that you've arrived in life, that you bought a house. Today millennials don't think that way, right? We're more than happy to rent. And that impact in consumption behavior, in just general behavior of consumers, is going to stay on, for some time after the pandemic, for sure.
Okay, all right. Because, the way I look at it is the Indian consumer, the young Indian consumer that we are both catering to, consumes around, let's say, 3.5 hours of TV on average in a day, right? And one would think, how much more could it get to? But to give you a stat, the American equivalent consumes around 7.5 hours a day. So I think we've got significant headroom there for growth. So that is good news. Yeah. But tell me, you work across a diverse set of brands and categories, right? So what are some of the insights that have come up specifically in this lockdown or because of the pandemic, which have led to either part behavior change or maybe a deviation from normal behavior? Would be interesting to hear some of those.
The first one, and which is startling across really every location we speak to young people in, is a screaming cry to brands that don't cosmetize. Young people today don't want brands to use purpose for the sake of purpose. If you're talking about your impact on and how you're really going to help the community in the time of this global distress, actually put your money where your mouth is. And that is the biggest trend. And that's also the biggest advice that we give all of our clients. Don't cosmetize. Second is be authentic. So if you're building your brand around, something that you truly stand for, you have to be authentic and you have to be consistent. Again, a lot of young, some of the biggest ads, and I don't want to name them, but some of the biggest ads that the marketing community has patted their back on over last year are ads that a lot of the young people look at and say that I don't connect with that at all, or that was not authentic, or I was not represented well, or my community was not represented well in that communication. So those are some of the startling trends that we're seeing. Are you also seeing that in the kind of content that you guys are potentially creating? Because you also obviously create so much of content on your own. I think we're losing Naveen a little bit during travel. Can you hear me?
I agree with you on the cosmetization. Okay, can you hear me now? Loud and clear?
Yes, better.
Okay, all right. So, no, I was saying I agree with you on the cosmetizing piece. What we are also picking up is not a change, but possibly a more rational bent of mind, meaning young people are saying, give me the information on the product for sure, rather than just an emo story only. And that possibly is something that's a shift we've seen in this period, right? The other thing we are seeing is them saying things like, I want them are not very clear on what that might, they're looking at, things like that. But to answer your question on content, clearly the two things we are looking at is inspiration and information. That seems to be something that we get towards. Inspiration, either the sphere I'm looking at in life as a career and so on, or just a story to make me feel better in these times. So I think a lot of inspirational content, whether created for this period or otherwise, seems to be consumed a lot. The other one, like I said, getting into the depth of matters,
I think we've lost Naveen there due to bad content, but I'm just going to bad connection, but I'm just going to take on from what Naveen was saying and just general consumption behavior and how things have changed with young people. Another topic that we really wanted to talk about is really what the kind of e-com spends that are happening today, and what are the categories that are getting more and more popular. In my experience and the things that we have seen, skincare strangely is still going up. There is a lot of spends that are happening in gardening, on home improvement, on obviously healthcare. These are some of the categories that have become more and more popular. Naveen, while you dropped off, I was just talking about some of the categories that are still looking very, very popular, especially in the e-com space, and what a lot of the young people are investing in. And some
Right.
of the things that we were seeing were skincare and beauty, even though makeup is really not that important right now, but there's a lot of investment on skincare, healthcare, home improvement. Strangely, the gardening category, soils, fertilizers, seeds, pots, those are all things that are also being bought a lot. I think people are using their time well at home. So these are some of the things that were happening there. But coming back, since you're back, there was one piece about diversity that is such an important conversation today when it comes to content creation. Diversity, representation, that is so important, and those are really the cornerstones of the creative advice that we give our clients as well. What is the mindset set with content creators like yourself in times like this? Is that what you look at as an important lens when you're creating content, or is it just purely entertainment?
No, for sure, diversity has always been big on our agenda. In fact, just around a week back, we announced our launch of India's first gender atypical album, right? What that means is, every romance is not necessarily a boy-girl romance. But unfortunately, Bollywood and most of the music industries in this country tend to treat it as that, right? So what happens is it's either a boy serenading a girl or a girl serenading a boy, and all tracks are written and composed for that. So for one of our brands, which is MTV Beats, we went ahead and created an album called Loud Duet, where we said, let's not create this, let's get the community to produce it for the community, right? So we've released the first 2 tracks, and the third is on its way. But even in times of pandemic, to me, you need to be true to your brand, and you need to be pushing newer agendas rather than doing stale work. So that's something.
Yeah.
But to your earlier point, I must confess, I'm one of the kitchen gardening people who's been buying pots and soil and cocoa peat and stuff like that, right? So yeah, so I'm part of that trend that you see. But I was reading somewhere interestingly, Pooja, that Fender, which is one of the biggest brands that make guitars, they've had their biggest lifetime year yet, right? And that clearly shows or supports what you were saying earlier. People, it's not just home improvement. People are looking at self-improvement in a big way, especially young people. So I think music, instruments, and art is one big piece. It sort of, possibly reaffirms the let me add more value to myself in this period.
Yeah, that brings me to a point. I was on a panel recently with someone from Spotify who was saying, and obviously the importance of data here is I mean, there's no question there. Data is a creative director's best friend, and that has been the case for many years, for eons. Because without an insight, you really can't create content, right? But this lovely lady from Spotify was telling us that the song lists on Spotify were all around food, because of the amount of food that was being cooked at home, during lockdown, and that sort of gave birth to so many different kind of brand integrations that eventually took place. How are you guys looking at, how closely are you guys looking at data, social trends, as well as conversations that are happening just culturally to define the kind of content that you're putting out?
Yeah. So a lot of our work, Pooja, is based on what is a fabled Youth Insight study, which I didn't commission, but was commissioned or started off possibly a couple of decades back, when MTV was the only music channel in the country. And the benefit we have is of access to that data over every 2 years, right? And that tells you our choices of content and so on. So for around us young people, whether money is equal to happiness, around 93% would endorse it and say, if I had money, I would be happy for sure. And then when we checked, we realized that only around 53% say, listen, it's not unidimensional. So 53% said, yes, money is important, but there's many more dimensions to happiness. So yeah, data plays a huge role. And I think most of our shows or content ideas come from data. For example, Roadies has been a flagship show for us for a long, long time. And the current version is called Roadies Revolution, where it's not just, people competing against each other. It's also the fact that on the journey, every village or town they go to, the task is to do. It had a primary school, which was in reasonably bad condition. So they stayed for a few days and actually helped to rebuild, paint, and give it a makeover. And that's something that came from our last study, which said that young people say the time to keep saying the government is not doing this or the municipal corporation is not doing this has gone. It's a very action-oriented mindset saying, okay, we'll have to do a lot of stuff on our own if we really want to see big change.
Yeah. What are the big content trends that you are seeing coming your way? And I'll add to that once you are done on just the kind of ads that we are creating and what we are going back to clients with. What are the key trends that you are seeing in the kind of content and content formats that we will see from Viacom in the future?
Well, on trends, I think in the last 6 to 12 months, the one I have seen is of much shorter consumption size packs. Seem to have figured out that there is there has been for long a lean in and a lean back version of content, and both seem to be very different occasions, and the same person might be present in both occasions. So I think a lot of short form content is what we've seen. Other than that, I think people have been reasonably creative in terms of how they managed to work around the constraints in lockdown. The ad with where are my glasses or where's my phone have been part of this. But I think we pretty much overcome the constraint of production in lockdown. I think given the safety precautions that we are able to take right now, we managed to shoot off quite a bit and we are back to pre-production levels. What about you guys? What are you seeing as different things that are coming up?
So for us, we were shooting remotely throughout lockdown, and in an extremely safe manner. So we created multiple ads with actors sitting in their own homes, producers and directors, and everyone sitting remotely, and we actually managed multiple productions remotely. And the reason I describe that, because we've all learned that production is not this deep dark hole that sucks away all your money, and there are many agile ways of really putting content out there, and very high quality content even. And so that I think is trend number one, that our client, everyone stated efficiency, and I think that trend is going to continue for some time. But so that is from a production standpoint. But from a creativity standpoint, the points that I made before is, one is no cosmetizing. We're absolutely against that as an agency. Secondly, it's important for us to be authentic, extremely diverse, represent very authentically the different kind of consumer segments. And those kind of trends are going to continue, and I see that that's what Gen Z is attracted to. Even younger millennials are attracted to that, and that is definitely going to continue as our advice to our clients. But I do see that we're running a bit out of time, and I want to take a couple of questions because I see that. So I'm going to read it out, Naveen, and you and I can take a call on who should take
All right.
that. So the first one is, do you notice some change in the behavior of the new generation when it comes to content consumption? We have answered that to a certain extent, but what is the future trend going to look like? Content consumption. I mean, we have answered that in a way, in a way already, Naveen. But do you want to reiterate it?
Yeah, I think there's been a blip because there was a lot more time on their hands, and some of those gains have been given up, but everybody who's in the content play is up. So, for example, I think people had this siege mentality. So you saw a lot of them holding up on food and holding up on content subscriptions as well, right? So to give you a number, OTT subscriptions, which is the subscription VOD industry in this country, might have been around the 10 million mark before the lockdown. And in lockdown, it sort of went up 3x to around 30 million, right? Wow. And that's just people holding up on subscriptions. It's still a very small number, right? In such a huge country, with 800 million plus people watching TV, to have just 30 million subscriptions, I think there's massive headroom for growth for OTT, for TV, for everybody. And, to reiterate, like I said, if you think 3.5 hours of TV a day is a lot, look at the Americans, they're doing 7.5 hours. So the only way that media and entertainment can go is up from here.
Yeah, I have to agree with you, because the kind of content the kind of platform expertise that we have invested in our company, and what we're going to continue to invest in is just it's scaling. And short form content has really gone through the roof. I mean, we're primarily a digital company. We do all sorts of creative, but we're digital at heart. So for us, creating anything from 0-second creative to 15-second creative is what we're very, very good at. And we're seeing mainstream brands continuing to say that, okay, we want short form content, more than 30-seconders and 60-seconders, specifically from an advertising lens. I see that really going through the roof. But I'm going to take another question from Govind Prasad. And he says that, is there content available especially for children? What content for children on OTT is viable? I think that question is for you, Naveen. I'm sure you.
Okay, so here's my chance to plug Woot Kids. So we've got a specific app. We have a lot of kids content. We've got the biggest kids TV channels in the country, right? So Nick does that for us. But we've farmed that off into a completely separate app because we did not want kids to be accessing an app which also has content for adults. So we have Woot Kids, which is a specific app catering to this audience. So that's something that you should check out. It is definitely feasible, and that's a space that's growing, right? And even kids consumption, how much ever you may want or not want, has been on the rise, right? Because screen time, because of online schooling, has anyway been on the rise. And then a lot of educational material is coming out on some of these apps. So Woot Kids is not just entertainment, but it's edutainment. So there's a lot of educational material that's coming up for kids. So I think that's a space that's growing. The competition. I will not name names here, Govind.
Okay, you don't name them, but I'm going to take the last question that we have, which is that, we have answered that to a certain extent. And the question goes, what kind of content consumption will happen going forward with this new generation? I could answer that from the various clients that we handle, which is, like Netflix and LinkedIn, etc. I mean, and even short form clients like Triller, which is, it's all going to be about short form content. Snackable content is very, very important today. And we see, as people are going to be out and about, that, entertainment on an app, on a social app, is going to be more and more important. And I can see that trend continuing as we move forward. Any points to add here, Naveen?
No, I completely agree. I think short form is the way forward. And like I said, if you look at the Bark Nielsen numbers, social media seems to be the one that has gone down below its pre-COVID levels. So clearly people are looking at short form content, and content that doesn't trap them in some kind of an echo chamber and, make them listen to right wing versus left wing and so on. There's so much more positive stuff to enjoy. People are looking a lot at that. The other thing definitely we've picked up is massive increase in the consumption of comedy videos or lighter content. And I think that might possibly because of the framework of the pandemic and the initial stress, at least, that was huge. So I think that's definitely going to keep seeing this uptake, which is comedy and lighter content.
Yeah, I would have to agree that the world needs happier things to see, and the world needs happier things to talk about, especially when we're locked in like this. Even though you're out and about in your car, I haven't left my house in months. But hey, Naveen, this was a great conversation. Thanks, and thanks to Ad Gully for putting this together. And
Thanks.
and thanks.
Any last thoughts, Pooja, you want to leave behind? Any last thoughts?
I think for me, content my core business is content. So content is king, queen, and everything in between. And, everything that we do today, it has to come from what consumers want and what consumers are seeking, but also to create a lot of content trends ourselves by listening to them and predicting. Those are things that are important for organizations like you and I, because we sit in a position where we're sitting on so much of data, and there's so much of predictive work that we can do with the kind of content we put out there and really spark positive trends, for others to follow. So that's really what I am focusing on within my company. And I know so are you guys, because I do follow a lot of the content that you put out there. So those are my closing remarks.
Great. Yeah. Thanks so much, Pooja. It's been a pleasure. My last two bits that I wanted to leave was, as we do these youth insights, sort of every couple of months, we've realized, we checked with them this thing about the new normal, this new normal. And to be honest, around 60% of young people have rejected what they call the new normal, or what media is calling the new normal, because they are absolutely confident that things will go back to where it was, and that this is very temporary as a phase. Whether it's with masks and sanitizers or otherwise, I think they are looking at theaters and travel and eating out as the top three things that they will do definitely in the next 6 to 9 months. And I think as Unlock 4.0, 5.0 and 7.0 come about, I think we might see, my prediction is we might be seeing some amount of revenge buying or revenge spending by the youngsters. And hopefully that'll be a big boost to the economy, man, and music to all marketeers' ears.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
we want that.
Yeah.
Don't want that. I have to agree with you, Naveen, that human beings, and just looking at historically the way the world has been. Yes, the next 1 year or probably a little lesser or more could be a little hard, but things will bounce back. Human beings are so, we're all about adapting and moving forward. And I hope we're learning and moving forward positively. So agree with you. Absolutely.
All right. Thank you. It's been a pleasure, Pooja, talking to you.
Likewise, Naveen. And thank you, Ad Gully. Varun, over to you now.
Thank you, Ad Gully. Thanks for having us.
Varun?
Thank you, Pooja and Naveen, for that riveting session.
Thanks, Varun. For a second, I thought we were in charge from here on.
No, in fact, I have a question for you. I was wondering if these behavioral insights about the youth in India also apply to those who believe they are young at heart.
For sure, yeah, that's always the case. The truest definition of youth is the person who's young at heart, and you got it, my friend.
Thank you very much for coming today for our session. And
thank you, Varun.
Bye, guys.
See you.
Bye, Naveen. See you.
Bye. See you.